Pastor, do you drink coffee?
No,
Oh,
I don't like.
fair.
I don't like coffee at all.
What's wrong with it?
Never have been a fan. Tried it a lot when I was in the army because I just worked like third shift, so I need something to keep me awake. But it either made me jittery or it made my stomach hurt. So
Oh, you got the bubble guts.
never been a fan.
I like coffee is not something that I'm like. There's definitely people that need coffee in the morning. Like they're like there's shirts, there's mugs about like I need my coffee. And to me, it just becomes because of how I like it. It ends up being like a sweet treat. Like so I stopped by this establishment on my way here.
Okay.
And I got a frozen coffee with mocha. Now, if that doesn't sound like ice cream to you, then that's just the vibe. Like it's got sugar, it's got cream, it's milk, a flavor. Like it's just I'm not getting it for the caffeine. I'm getting it for literally how it tastes.
Well, I have no idea.
Like
It's foreign to me. Mocha, frozen, coffee. I thought coffee has come hot.
Oh no, they can come cold. They can come frozen. They can come and there is coffee and ice cream, so they can come in an ice cream flavor. Yeah.
Not a fan.
Do you like? Do you have like do you like juice?
No. I used to be like real big on apple juice, but right now I drink the ice water, no sugar, no carbs.
Oh, those little.
They're not little, no. They like come in like 16-ounce bottles.
Ice water.
Yeah, they
I know
different flavors and stuff. When I started keto a couple of years ago to get away from soda or juice because so much sugar in it, I started drinking those. So they give you like this the soda fizz.
Yeah.
But it's no carbs, no sugar.
Huh.
So that's why I'm on either that or water, just regular water.
Those two things. I guess the ice water gives you the bit of flavor that comes with stuff, and then then you just have water.
Right, and if I'm feeling for sugar, I like a cherry Coke or something.
Oh.
Yeah, but not often. If I'm like, but I normally it's just water or carbonated water. That's no sugar, no carbs. That's flavored.
Have you noticed a difference?
In what?
Like how you feel?
So my goal for switching that is I didn't want to drink my carbs. I'd rather eat them.
That's right. That's right. You better eat your carbs.
And so that's what I stayed away from it for so long. Now it's just a difference. No, I don't think so.
No.
Unless I'm just drinking straight water, then if it's just straight water, then there is a difference.
Do you think people in the Bible had like a version of coffee?
I'm not for sure.
Why not? Why aren't you for sure? Didn't you study this?
I did not study coffee in the Bible.
That's unfortunate.
That was not a seminary class.
That's unfortunate. You sure it wasn't an elective or anything?
Not one that I chose.
I see.
Yes, I see.
I just think it's always so interesting, like at the establishment that I went to, there were just so many options for coffee, and it's just like kind of I feel at times you can be assessed by your coffee choice and what you choose to order.
Well, my wife loves coffee.
Yeah.
And she drinks it every morning.
Okay.
I think now Alex, my daughter, is the same way. They love coffee. I have nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah, I didn't grow up drinking coffee at all. Like my parents didn't drink it. And
so what made you start drinking it?
To be honest, probably social.
Social what?
Like it's a social thing.
Oh. I know people are like, let's get coffee. I'm like, I'll get a smoothie.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I just get just water or tea. I'm not a big fan of tea neither.
Oh, really?
No.
Neither
I don't really like hot
Lasso.
drinks.
Neither is Ted Lasso. He doesn't like tea. He calls it dirt water.
Wow.
Or like earth water or something like that.
What season is that?
The first one.
How many seasons?
The fourth one just got approved.
Okay.
Have you watched it?
Nah.
Oh.
I started like one episode, but I have not committed. I'm not good at
Commitment.
watching. Yeah. I'm good at commitment. I'll push you out that chair. I'm not good at watching series.
Oh, okay.
You a hater.
I'm not a hater. I was just filling in the gaps.
There was no gap there.
This might have been a gap there. Anyway, welcome everyone to MTZ Overflow Podcast. I am your host, Cassaundra Thorpe, and I'm here with my forever guest, Reverend Dr. Marcus Allen.
Hello, everyone.
Senior, the first. We are here to talk about we're in our last sermon of September in our sermon series, Renewed Worship.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're talking about, we're in Psalm 24, verse 7 through 10. And this is David, right? So if you feel free to go back and listen to other podcasts to hear my thoughts on David. I'll leave it alone here because those issues and concerns that I have with David are not in question at this moment. But the sermon title is called "Let the King In." Can you talk to us about we're in the 24th Psalm out of how many Psalm chapters are there?
150.
Okay, so we're on the early side of the Psalms,
Mm-hmm.
and so what is happening with David this time in history, and even leading up to this point in the text?
All right, so David is, some would consider as the greatest king of Israel. CT is a hater of David. If you go back and look at other podcasts, you will see the amount of hate she provides to this man for being a man.
Do not disagree.
And so here what is going on is King David has secured the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant symbolizes the presence of God. It is filled with the Ten Commandments. It's filled with Moses and articles from Moses and Aaron. It's filled with stones from when they crossed the Jordan. It's a reminder of the presence of God being with the people of God. And so they secured the Ark of the Covenant, and now they're bringing it back to the city. And as they're on their way to the city, they are yelling out, declaring, "Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and the King of glory shall come in." And the response is, who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. He is the King of glory. Lift up your heads. Again, then who is this King of glory? The Lord, he is the Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. So it's a warning. This psalm is one that was probably used and as a responsive reading type in worship. That someone will read and then the congregation will respond like, who is this King of glory? And so this was something that would happen in worship during the temple days to honor the coming of the king. And some would even suggest that it had a messianic tone to it, which means the coming of the Messiah, which is the King of glory. And so it's like introduction, declaration, saying the king is coming.
Mm-hmm. So then if that's the message, then are they bringing the Ark of the Covenant to different cities and saying this?
No, this was just they had recovered. Don't think somebody else has took it from us, right? And David went and recovered it and was bringing it back to where it's supposed to have been all the time in the city of Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, that it may rest there. And so
Okay.
that's it really never moved because it represented the glory of God.
Okay. So just putting it to the place where
Rightfully belong. Yeah.
Thank you. Rightfully belonged. So why? So the name of this sermon is "Let the King In," and based off of my understanding of how you shared the text, and feel free to fill in and correct. So they got the Ark of the Covenant. They're coming back to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is covered by walls or gates, doors and gates. And so they're telling them to lift up their heads and letting the king come in, which makes me think that the people at the doors and gates felt defeated, and that like they were looking down. They didn't have I don't know if like a loss of faith, or that was just like their duty to keep their head down until somebody approached them. But it feels like there was bringing back the Ark of the Covenant was supposed to spark joy, and it was not sparking joy with the people at the gate.
Well, they was doing it from afar, so the people at the gate couldn't see what exactly did they have, right? And so lifting up your head is like, hey, you, or it's just to alert that the gate, what those who are guarding the gate, what was on the way. I don't think it was, if their heads are down at the gate, and if they are asleep at the gate, then there's going to be trouble at the gate. You feel what I mean? But if they're guarding the gate, they're already alert to what's going on, should be alert, right? Again, I served in the United States Army, and I was in Afghanistan, and my responsibility was to guard the entry control point at Bagram Airfield in Afghanistan. And my responsibility was to go around to all the guard posts and ensure that all the soldiers were awake and alert, watching, right? Sometimes they were asleep. Amen.
What'd you do?
Go crazy.
Oh.
In all actuality, they could face court-martial. They could have faced court-martial and got in a lot of trouble, but I ain't trying to, people who got stuff going on back home, people trying to manage being in a war zone. Sometimes it was first-time soldiers being in the combat zone. So I ain't trying to kill them, but I did, gave them a constant reminder of not to do it again. And that's some form of physical exercise and stuff. You feel me?
Oh, is that what you call like whoopings in the army? Is a physical exercise?
We don't give no whoopings. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just
talking about push-ups.
Oh, you didn't beat them?
No. Physical exercise. I didn't say physical abuse.
You didn't say who was doing that. Like that could be an exercise of power.
Chill. So the goal was to make sure, and so what we did, we put in measures to make sure that there were breaks, because it was 8-hour shift, and so we were making sure soldiers would go eat, because you couldn't eat on post, right? Because you got to be alert at all times. Can't have any type of devices out there, no reading material. Your goal is to always stay awake, and sometimes you'll be out there by yourself, but our goal was to make sure we had 2 people out there each time. So if one does go to sleep, another one can be awake watching the post. And so I think the call to the gate was to say, hey, we're on our way with something that's important. It wasn't, y'all need to wake up. It was, be alert to what's to come. Okay. Because if they, and then so they said lift up their heads with me. I interpret it as be alert to what's about to come your way.
Okay. Yeah, so they're coming from afar. So David and his people with the Ark of the Covenant are talking to the people at the gate, and they're concerned. They're like, "Who are you? Mm-hmm. Who is this? What are you talking about? You're from very far away." And it doesn't seem like there was dialogue that was involved with this. And so within that, we have to, as people, make the decision to open up our hearts to what to allow God to be a transformative presence. Because what the ark, what does the ark do when it's back in its rightful place?
Right. The ark it represented the glory of God. It represented the presence of God, and so it gives you that confidence, that reassurance, that the faith to be able to do and believe that you can do the impossible because who's on your side. And they remember they remember how God constantly made ways for the children of Israel through the Red Sea, through the Jordan River, through the feeding of the people with manna from heaven, through these incredible events that took place where God was with them, and it represented the glory, the presence of God. And so, like, if you go somewhere and I'm with you, you know you good, right? You don't got to worry about nothing, because you know if somebody do anything, I'll protect you. And so I'm going to act the fool because I know who's on my side.
Wait.
I'm not going to worry. I'm just
hypothetically.
I'm not worrying I'm not worrying about anyone else because I know who's on my team.
Yes, I know who's on my team, but like, does that give you an excuse to be wild? Like, if you so I think about it in the context of like a younger sibling and an older sibling.
Mm-hmm.
So a younger sibling will act out, say something crazy, do something to someone that could easily beat them up, but because they know that their older sibling is going to be there, they continue to act wild because they know that they'll be protected. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I'm comfortable wherever I am because who is with me. Feel me?
That's different.
That's not different. I'm saying I said I could be wild. I could act out because I know who's on my side, who is protecting me. At least I said you because I was using you in the story, and I was the protector.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh.
Chill.
What? That's nice. That's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
To know that someone will protect you.
For sure.
I appreciate that. I don't know if people get acknowledged as much for that. So I appreciate that you make sure that I was protected. That means a lot.
No cap.
None. So in the text, I had this question. So, it says, "Lift up your head and lift up the doors." Are those representing the same thing here in this text?
Well, so one is saying, "Lift up your head, and lift up the gates, and you everlasting doors." So, lift up the head, I would say, was pointing to the people, asking the people to be alert. Then opening up the gates and the doors, which means to give access, which means to remove the barriers that would keep someone from coming in. So as we look at it symbolically, lift up your head, like use your mind. Then also remove the barriers from your heart, which is your emotions, your desires, your passions. Remove those barriers and let the King in. To your heart, to allow him to control those desires, passions, purposes, and things like that. That's what I would say symbolically.
Okay.
The meaning of lift up your head, O ye gates, and be lifted up, you everlasting doors. Back then, the city had gates and doors that allowed people access in, and if you've heard the story of the wall of Jericho coming down, right? They felt safe because of the walls and the gates, because they controlled who they allowed to come in. But because God told them they would conquer that town, they didn't have to open up the gate or lift any doors. The walls came down. And when the wall came down, it gave access to those on the outside to have free reign. But this is, you look at this is not God saying that he's going to be an intruder, nor is he going to be an unwelcome guest.
Okay.
He's saying, if you let me in, I'll come in, right? It's not, I'm going to kick your door down and come and get you. And so that's what I really like about our religion. That it's not something that's forced upon us. It's a choice that all of us have to make. if we want the Lord to come in, or if we stay in the language of the text, if we want the king to come in or not. That's our choice. And the dude at the gate would be like, no, go away, right? They turn back around, go away. Because this is not an invasion on who you are, but this is an invitation to accept something in your life that'll make you whole and complete, and make you, I think, make you more powerful to face the challenges of this world.
I think that's really important to know of, by becoming whole and complete, which transitions us to, so your question is like, why should I let the king in? Your first point is he responds to my question, which is, who is it?
Right.
Who that so we talked about that, like who's there? We, you know what, me, I am very conscious of who, not only do I let into my house, but also who I let close to me and gets exposed to my emotions. If you know me pretty well at this point, I have a lot of emotions. I carry them, I use them, I'm not afraid of them. Yes, all of them. I try to use all of my emotions. And I'm not afraid of them, but I am concerned about who has access to them and who holds them, because I have had people use them
for sure
against me, and that is not a company that I desire to keep, as I want to be able to feel safe. And so I think there is protection that comes with like who is it and who you let in, because I think we do create barriers and boundaries. That's the word. We keep boundaries on folks with us. My question to you is: so we do it to people. Why do you think we create boundaries on Jesus, and especially when we want him? It's like, especially when I want him to give me full access of him, but I limit what I give him access to.
I think number one is because we don't have a full understanding of who God is, right? And since we are unsure fully and completely of who he is, we put restrictions. That's like stranger. If you see a stranger on the street, right? You're not just gonna allow them to come in your house.
I'm not.
They knock on the door. You might talk through the peephole. I don't know if people still have those, or you may talk to them.
The Ring camera.
I was about to say the Ring camera. You might talk to them because you don't know who they are, and so since you don't have a full understanding of who they are, you leave them on the porch and talk to them in that manner. And I think sometimes we've done that with God, that we have not allowed him fully in because we really have not fully experienced him or get to know him. And it takes time with any relationship. It takes time to really open yourself up to people and be willing to share your emotions, like you said, to give them access to your emotions. One thing, I'm a father of girls. Yeah. And
girl dad. That's what they say. Girl dad.
But
you're using father of girls. Why? Why? Like, what is that? Why? What are you doing?
It's the same thing. I'm a girl dad. I'm a father of girls. And so I tell my girls all the time, don't be telling no little boy you love them, like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
This is a large age range.
Yeah. That boy don't care nothing about you. That's why I want them to know, and that's straight facts. You know why?
Why?
Because I used to be that boy at 13, 14, 15, 16 that's willing to tell a young lady anything. You feel what I mean, CT?
Wow.
But I ain't. You feel me?
I don't know if I feel you, but
I'm trying to let you understand that. Especially young girls, teenagers, I don't know if they understand the true meaning of love in a romantic relationship.
Probably not the fullness.
Probably not. They don't. Barely know what to wear to school each day.
But
you have a full understanding of what love is. No. And so until we can mature fully and have a full understanding of who we are, then we're willing to allow others to come into our lives and express that level, that romantic love for them. Now, for us, when it comes to our relationship with God, it also requires us to have time, put time in to know him. And how do we know him? We get to know him, through the reason, right? We know him if there's a sun in the sky, a moon, stars. We know that there is a God somewhere. We get to know him through tradition. People have told us about him, right? Your parents, brothers, sisters, somebody told you about him. You get to know him through the scripture, right? You want to know about God? It's found in the Bible. And then we get to know him through experience, where we ourselves have an active relationship with him, that we get to know him. And so once we know him and navigate all those aspects of relationships, then we're free to let him in and have full control. But if I don't really trust him, I'm not going to allow him to have full control. And sometimes people really don't even trust God to do what he needs to do. And those of us who know God's attributes and his character, sometimes we don't want to bring certain things to him because we don't want to stop some of those things we're doing, or we don't want him to prevent that from happening. So we'll just hold back a little bit rather than, I'm gonna stop saying we, like you said, me, hold back a little bit rather than giving God the full thing, because I still want to experience some aspects of that thing that I was doing. And that gets us in trouble when we don't let it go fully and completely. And so the intentionality must be on the part of believers to give God our all, but we must know who he is and how we feel about it and how we know God. So theology is the study of God, right? Theology is the study of God. And all of us see God in different lights and different forms. God does not change, but our understanding of God changes. You feel what I mean? God does not change, but our understanding.
Y'all can't see my face.
I see your face.
If you're just listening, my face is like, wait, what?
Our understanding of God changed. The way I knew God when I was 8 years old should be different when I'm 42.
Why?
Because I've experienced him in different ways. I was never sick at 8 where I needed prayer and needed God to come through. You feel what I mean?
No.
But now I know he's a healer because I've experienced him in a way that I needed him to heal my body.
But okay, question. But what about having like childlike faith, like where it's more open and more about absorbing and learning versus critiquing and excluding? Because isn't it? There's a text that say, "Out of the mouth of babes, it comes the truth," and to have faith like children, like, so why is that encouraged versus like, how does that play into the fact of like more mature or more advanced faith?
Right. Like I said, if you are a child, you understand things at a different level. When I was a child, I didn't need God to pay bills, right? I didn't need God to provide transportation anywhere. Matter of fact, I really didn't need much from God, but God to wake me up in the morning.
Okay.
My mother took care of the rest.
Uh-huh.
You feel what I mean? But now as an adult, I had to learn how to lean and depend on God to help me make decisions that are life altering. When I was a kid, I didn't have to depend on God. When I was going to wear to school that day, or what I was going to do on the playground. No. But now that my life has changed, and as hopefully as we grow, we gain more wisdom and knowledge and understanding, that we get to know who God is. And I pray that our faith at 8 years old is not at the same level when you're 42 years old.
I see. Because you need different things.
Life is different. It's a different level. It's levels to this thing, CT. You feel me? It's levels to this thing.
I only want one.
You only want one level?
Yeah.
No.
What do you mean?
No.
Why?
Because when you're a kid, somebody is responsible for taking care of you.
I still want that.
You still want that. God bless your heart.
Don't you want that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would enjoy, not like my grandbaby, she sit and we feed, we clothe, we clean, we do everything for her because she can't do it for herself.
I think there's this, correct, like, because she's not even a year yet. Mm-hmm. So there's things that we need in order to survive, right? And it takes away, like, she's not independent.
Not at all.
I think where we get as adults is we become independent. Like right now, today, I dressed myself, I brushed my teeth, I got in the car, I went to, thank you. I got in the car, I drove, I walked, I ate, I fed myself, did all of these things. And then to become dependent on somebody else, knowing that I've already had to do those things, I think that's a difficult transition. Mm-hmm. In the physical, not I think it is a difficult transition. I think about aging parents, I think about those that have physical disabilities or physical limitations, and having to depend on somebody else to do the things that you may have independently been able to do. And in a sense, we are giving up a spiritual independence. Maybe not giving up. We are developing a spiritual dependency on the Lord in order for our spiritual growth or for our spirituality to grow. Am I gathering that right?
Yeah, that sounds all right.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do when we let the King in, right?
Yeah.
Because we want to be the ones to depend on him. Like you said, it's like when individuals get married later in life, right? You've been independent for so long, and now you have to merge with somebody else. What you like to do, how you like to make your bed, how you like to fold clothes, how late you want to stay up, how early you get up out of the bed. Now that has to be considered of somebody else. And sometimes, and that can be challenging because now you got to adjust to somebody else. But what we're saying, at least what the writer is saying here, let the King in. I'm saying this, when you allow him to come in, it'll make your life so much better than it was if he was not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
What?
No.
No what?
Just saying nope, whatever you was about to say.
Okay. Thanks for good dialogue.
Yeah.
There's a piece in your sermon that I wanted to talk about, and I think it applies here to the podcast directly, and I think that's also why I'm glad we started this. So I'm going to read the statement. The text does not present us with a hostile king because of the question, but the text demonstrates that when you have a question, there is an answer. This text debunks the slave theology of never questioning God. If I never ask, I will never know. God is not offended by our questions.
That's good.
And
that was good.
That was so good. So good. I'm not even kidding, because those are pieces, for my growing up, there was a lot of, like, you don't question God. You don't question the Bible. What it is what it is. We do not talk about it. That is, Bible is truth, no questions. But then I think about, I am a psychology undergrad, and part of psychology is asking questions. So that's how you can gather data. That's how you get information from subjects. You ask questions of the data to answer your hypothesis or what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to the Bible, and if you've watched the podcast or listened to it at all, I have a series of questions that I like to ask.
A whole lot.
Yes, and because I'm coming from the thought process of it is not questioning God. I do not question his existence, but I do have questions about the things that he is telling us about. Mm-hmm. And I think that is very healthy. And I am happy that there is text that supports that.
Yes.
And More on your
it's,
thoughts on it.
like I said, that slave theology, right? Never question the master.
Yeah.
Right, and so we've carried that into our theological belief of who God is. God is never there's nowhere in the text when God said, "Don't question me." Right? I don't know. I haven't read. Don't. We understand God at our own levels. Again, it's different levels of maturation when it comes to understanding who God is, and when we understand who He is. Then we see certain things in our lives that are happening. There's some things in the Bible that you really have questions about that are not answered pretty much in the biblical text.
No.
And so you need that revelation from God to give you the discernment of what is going on in the biblical text so that it can be able to enhance your life currently. And I don't think God is offended by questions. Right? I want to know. I want to know, and some questions are, some people struggle when like a parent die early or a child die. And it's just some things we'll never know, right? And some things we'll figure it out by and by. But it's some things we would just never know, especially when it comes to death, because it's final, but it's also a mystery.
Yeah. Death is probably one of the bigger ones. That you have questions for, and the person that you want to ask the questions to cannot respond, at least on this side. And I think it definitely creates a space of I don't know, it's almost like blind faith, but like I feel like real, almost. I might get hurt for this. Ignorant faith, and in the sense of like not asking questions of the text or asking the in between, like what is missing, from what I'm reading. Like I've been in various Bible studies and had different conversations with people, and I think I've challenged myself through you as well to read the text, read what it is saying, but also read what it's not saying, and trying to ask questions of that. Like what are the gaps that are helping to tell the rest of the story? And sometimes they'll show up through different translations. Those show up through learning the history of the time. Like that's why I ask you to give us like what's going on here in this text, to help paint a picture of what is going on, because I remember I used to be of the, all right, close your eyes and find a place in the Bible. That's what the Lord wants you to learn that day. I've definitely done that. And some stuff I was like, okay, right, okay, Lord, I guess that makes sense. But I think there is space for it, and I think it challenges believers to dig deeper, and sometimes, which I think we'll get into, we're a bit afraid to dig deeper, because that means letting God in further into your house when you dig deeper.
For sure.
So I'm glad that you called that out. Appreciate it. That was just a moment for me in the sermon. Your second point is he is a king that is ready to fight. And your quote was, "Knuck if you buck, amen."
You heard that?
Everybody heard that part. I wrote it down.
No, I don't know. Like the stuff just come out. You know what I'm saying? It just come out when I'm in the pulpit sometimes, and that's not even in my notes.
It's not.
It just
I have it here. It's not there.
It just comes out. It's just growing up in the '90s and early 2000s, those types of songs and stuff that were around to help people know it's time to fight. And so,
let's just say Pastor's a true millennial, okay? Because last week you sang Independent. So I'm in the upper room. So I'm upstairs in her AV space. And he said, she got her own house. She got her own car. I'm like, 2 jobs, work car. I don't know who else was singing with me, but I enjoyed that. So thank you for you're starting to do it. Minister Stephanie, that's like part of her prep. She be killing it on it.
She gonna find a song.
Oh, not like multiple. Like she'll hit on it. Anyway, beyond that. So we talk about the king is ready to fight. So now we're in a battle. I thought the battle was over.
Where? We still alive?
Yeah. Also, the battle's not over. I meant like textually, because right, they went to go get the Ark of the Covenant. David and his boys, and them boys, bringing it back to Jerusalem. So the fight is over.
Yeah.
So what is this? The king is ready to fight.
No, it's saying that the Lord is mighty in battle, right? He's strong and mighty, and he's mighty in battle. Strong and mighty, mighty in battle, which means he can fight.
He can fight.
Right? And so since he can fight, he's always ready to fight for me. I should have put the for me, because that's why I want to let him in, because if I let him in, he's going to fight for me.
Okay.
You feel what I mean? Again, it goes back to knowing who's on your side. Little brother, big brother goes to the party. Little brother act up because he know big brother can fight. Nobody can beat him. Nuck if you buck.
Amen.
Amen. And so I think they are telling the people at the gate why they should let him in, because he's strong and he's mighty, but he's also mighty in battle. He's strong where he can lift you, but he's mighty where he can keep you. You feel me? And then he's mighty in battle, which means when it's in battle, he can handle it. So this is it's a promo.
Oh.
It's a hype video. It is language to allow the listener to hear about the capabilities of who they are letting in. They're defining him through their words. He is strong and mighty. He's mighty in battle. He can fight. That's how I just broke it down.
That was good. That was good. Now do it at like an actual promo video.
Who, you want me to do it?
I would love for you to do it. You need some.
Hey, you at the gate. Let the king in. Why should we let the king in? Because he is the Lord of glory. He is a fighter. He'll fight for you. And if he go to battle, he always win. If I was you, I would let the king in. Let the king in.
Oh, that was good.
Brought to you by Marcus Allen Studios. Yeah. So that's what it's just basically. It was them bragging on the king, and we can go to. You got any questions from that point? No other questions from that one?
I'm gonna let you go.
He was bragging on the king, and then they said it again. Hey, lift up your head, O ye gates, and the King of glory come in. And they asked the question again. Who is this king? Which suggests they wanted more information about what and who they were allowing to come in. They say he is the Lord of hosts. Lord meaning Yahweh, meaning personal God. Lord in this context. He's the Lord of hosts. Host means he's over a lot of armies, a host of armies, multitude of people, multitude of other people that can fight. You feel what I'm saying, CT? And because he's the Lord of hosts, that means he's a leader. He's out front. He's making strategic plans. He's doing what needs to be done for everybody. So they're telling, hey, he's the Lord of hosts, and since he's the Lord of hosts, let him in. But finally, they said, again, I think 5 times in these 4 verses, King of glory is mentioned. King of glory, King of glory, King. He is the King of glory. And again, glory represents his presence. He's the King of presence. And I believe wherever God is, that's a safe place. Wherever God is, that is a joyous or that is a place I want to be in. Because where the presence of the Lord is, there is liberty. That's what the Bible says. And I believe that wherever God is, I have everything that I need. And so that comfort is like this, it's a chant or like a conversation with someone that's approaching, someone at the gate, and the person at the gate has to deliberate should they let the king in. The person that's coming is telling them why they should let the king in. And the reasoning for letting the king in: he's strong and mighty, he's mighty in battle, he's the Lord of hosts, he is. And I forgot this, I really like the word is in this particular text because it represents present tense, which means he will always be. He will never be, was, or shall be. He is, that it will always be the Lord of hosts, strong and mighty, mighty in battle, King of glory. And because of that, I should be willingly welcoming him in to be the king over my life.
I want to make sure
I
had all my questions. Yes. Like the present tense, having God be is present. I think we can forget that God is present and not just in biblical text.
Mm-hmm.
Like what happened then can't happen now. The gap, there isn't a gap. This is just more of a not more of, but the Bible is a representation of the things that God can do,
mm-hmm.
And it's not limited to the text. But I think at times because of the historical nature that's also involved in the Bible, we can think of it as past. So emphasizing the word is, I think, is very, very crucial. And he is there to help us fight our battles, which I could see the person who's at the gate being like, who is this King of Glory that can fight my battles? Like, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does he have a sword? Like, I think immediately when we think fight, even in the song Nuck If You Buck, it's about physical fights.
Mm-hmm.
How is God protecting us in the fights that are like emotional and mental and the ones that you don't see?
Right.
How is he in that battle there?
And we don't even know right now, right? What's trying to take us out? What is intentionally targeting us that God is keeping from us? Mm-hmm. And even this mental health, these internal battles that happen within our own minds, and our own behaviors. If we are intentional of leaning and dependent on the Lord, he's intentional of giving us the tools and the techniques to help us overcome even ourselves. I don't know why I did that. But he helps us overcome even ourselves when we're struggling with our own mental well-being. And I think that's what we need. We need a fighter, right? And sometimes it's just beyond our control as humans to be able to face or to overcome some things of the world. But because of God, we're able to face those challenges.
Yeah, the battle seen and unseen.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, with him being the one who's gonna fight our battles, who's taking charge. Your third point is he is a king who leads, and you talk about being in his zone of protection, mm-hmm. and that just being in the area you are protected. And you talked about if the president came at this time of this recording, President Biden comes in and you're near him, if you came to Mount Zion, you'd be protected.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a different experience.
Okay.
Because President Biden was here in Madison earlier this summer. And I had ordered a to-go beverage from an organization.
Okay.
And I just wanted the treat for myself for the day. So I got in my car. I'd ordered it, got in my car, and was going to go pick it up. based off of where I live, which is, and to get to the location was to pass the airport. I could not get there.
No, you wasn't.
There was no way that I was getting there. When I tell you I tried so many different ways with which to get there, the most convenient way at that time was for me to drive 30 minutes the other direction when I could have only had 5.
You just have to wait.
There's no way to wait.
You just gotta wait. I was there when he came at Truex.
That was in July.
What? Was that July? When was the eclipse?
That might have been earlier. Maybe like May.
That was a different one.
The solar eclipse was, I think, still during the academic year, so it might have been April, May. I remember going outside.
So this probably was a different time when he came.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was coming.
So what you trying to say? You still get protection.
I was not protected.
You wasn't You wasn't in his zone.
I guess, yeah. I was not.
You wasn't. You was outside of it, so they had to block you from coming inside his zone.
I wasn't even trying to go inside.
And nothing. They don't even let anything move until the plane take off.
No.
Yeah. So what are you talking about? This don't even apply to you, CT. Or
I was trying to make it. So that's what happens when you're outside the zone of protection. You can't you can't do it.
Can't get in. Everybody's affected.
Why is that petty? That's not fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's petty. I do think Jesus is petty. I think that's fair.
Sometimes.
Okay, yeah, fair. Not sometimes. Maybe not all the time, but Jesus is petty.
He's real. He kept it real.
Oh, is that the language we're using now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jesus is.
Jesus is real. I know. Okay.
I was reading my notes to see if it makes sense now, and it doesn't. So I was being outside the zone of protection. How do you get inside the zone of protection? Because I wasn't in the president's zone of protection.
Right.
How do you get inside Jesus' zone of protection?
For God so loved the world.
Yeah.
That he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Believe in Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's it? So simple.
Say, you just gotta believe in Jesus Christ. You believe in who he is. You become a part of the family, and now you become a part of who he is, and everything that he has, you have access to. And so that is it. Just believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross. God raised him from the dead, and you shall be saved.
Yeah, there we go. Where can they find that in the scripture?
That's John 3:16. Or you can also go to Romans 10:9. That said, if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and God raised him from the dead, then you shall be saved. For whoever called on the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Is it a specific name of the Lord?
The name, Jesus.
Because I know that God can have different names.
It's all still points back, Yahweh, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nissi. But when you call on the Lord for salvation, Jesus, the one who rescues us, the one who saves, Jesus is his name, and Jesus means the one who saves, then you shall be saved.
Those are really the main questions I had. Do you have anything else that you want to share with the people?
Let the King in. Let him rule and reign in your life. Open up your heart. Give him full access to all that you have and all that you are. And I promise you, your life will be better. It may not be easy. It still may be challenging, but it will be better because you know who is on your side. God bless.
God bless. Thank you for listening and watching us today. We're excited to have you. Please continue to check out our website for new episodes. And until then, stay marvelous, fabulous, and blessed. Peace.
Peace.